You can clearly tell I was running through a head cold when I was recording the script for Generation 1, and Generation 2 I poked fun at Bugsy's design that could easily be taken as transphobic.
I don't know, I mean, fuck it. Bugsy has bug-type Pokemon at its disposal.
Ugh. Not one of my better quips, so my apologies for that mistake. The game has considerably grown since its release, and though I'm nowhere near addicted to it as I once was, I still find some time to load it up, maybe catch a Pokemon here to keep a streak going for experience points, and send gifts to my friends. When I remember to load the game up when I'm out of the house. My neighborhood is a death zone, it sucks. What do you want me to do, get up and walk? Okay, so I figured I actually need to start losing weight soon, so I should probably start heading out. So let's find a Pokestop here. I have to walk quite a bit for a video here, and that's always fun, and it's like, yeah. When in doubt, churches are usually a good spot to get Poke items and other shit. You can find God and maybe an evolution stone. I've actually never done one of these before, so I'm trying to see what's, oh boy, don't fuckle with Shuckle. Holy fuck, you can't do anything against these dudes with just one person being here. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna win this. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Well, this was quite a pleasant experience. I think I deserve an award. Just gonna make a quick trip here and get back home because I'm fucking freezing out here. Mission accomplished. I am an adult. I bought Pokemon Let's Go Eevee for my Switch because I thought, like Pokemon Yellow, if you went with Pikachu, you wouldn't be able to evolve them. What, you don't like your cute and marketable mascot, you piece of shit? That's still technically true here. Your Pikachu or Eevee will outright refuse to evolve no matter how hard you press them, but this time, unlike Yellow, both games offer a means to get more than one Pikachu or Eevee that you can evolve as you see fit. Which is good for me because I love Raichu and Vaporeon. Raichu's my favorite Mon, period, and Vaporeon, Eevee's water-type evolution, has been my go-to water-type for close to 20 years now, though surprisingly, I ended up not recruiting a Vaporeon into my team this go-around, which I'll explain in a bit. You can only use a single Joy-Con when playing the game docked, and you don't even hold the Joy-Con like an NES controller. You hold it like a TV remote. And though you get used to it, it always feels a little off. I feel like a couch potato melting away in my chair surfing through Pokemon channels without actually playing the Pokemon channel, remember that? You also have to use the motion control to throw Pokeballs when using the single Joy-Con, and god, did this feel clunky in the first few hours. I lost count on how many times I thought I threw the ball straight ahead, only for that son of a bitch to veer away like I had a cat allergy. Also, I get that I lose a ball if a Pokemon busts out of the thing. That shit is gone, there's nothing left, okay. But when I simply miss a throw, why does that count as a loss? You know, why can't I just go and pick the ball up from the ground? Does it disintegrate upon touching the grass? Take my advice, don't swing your arm in a forward arc like the game wants you to. I found it much better and accurate to lob the thing like a softball. If you want to aim it left or right, all you gotta do is slightly angle it left or right when you throw it. I still ended up misfiring sometimes because motion controls can never be perfect. Seeable encounters also make going through Mount Moon and Rock Tunnel much less annoying. There's still an abundance of Pokemon running around. You can still invest in repels to keep Pokemon away entirely. But it is good to know that I don't have to worry about Zubats barging my screen every millisecond, although sometimes, especially in caves, Pokemon can just instantly pop up in front of you. When it's something like Onix, sweet Jesus! I was surprised to see how many Pokemon I ended up catching. I never intended on completing the Pokédex, but damn, I ended up with nearly 2/3 of the whole Kanto roster in my completion log just as I was going along. That's how significant catching Pokemon is in this iteration. Though you're only allowed to use a single Joy-Con when playing docked, a buddy of yours can grab the second Joy-Con and summon a support trainer that can help you capture Pokemon. If you give your team extra care and attention, heal them when they're hurt or talk to them outside their Pokeballs, they can show their appreciation in battle by getting more critical hits, shrugging off status effects through sheer force of will, or by getting more preemptive strikes, all because they love ya. Although I wish Pikachu didn't look like she was ready to poison my sandwich whenever I gave her a compliment. Whenever you see this little icon, it helps to spend a few seconds to check on your pal because, alright, the game is already easy enough, but come on, it feels good to high-five your butt after winning a battle. Celine sure as shit ain't gonna give me any high-fives, but that's cool. Once I teach her how to breathe fire, you're all fucked. And there's also this dude that can teach your Eevee or Pikachu special techniques to help cover a wide range of weaknesses. And some of these techniques, goddamn, I got so much use out of Bouncy Bubble, a hard-hitting water attack that also restored health whenever it did damage. With this, I found no need to add a Vaporeon to my team. My little Bob was more than enough, and yeah, I named my Eevee Bob. There's always room for a Bob. You're a 10-year-old up-and-coming Pokemon trainer who sets off to be a Pokemon master and stops the Japanese mafia along the way. However, when you break it down, you don't do much in this world besides travel to the next town and fight trainers, and Let's Go, as a glorified remake of Pokemon Yellow, doesn't do much to make it better. Yeah, Red. No, you're not having an existential crisis. The kid you control in Let's Go is completely different, as is your rival. Instead of the douchebag Blue, it's this other kid who's much friendlier and wants to be just as much of a master trainer as you do without being a total dickhead about it. Although Blue is still in this game, you still have your scuffle with him at one point, but now he's more of a helpful asset in taking Team Rocket down. Bonus points for also bringing in Green, the elusive third trainer that for years only existed in concept artwork and a Pokemon manga, I think. And no, I don't count Leaf. If she was supposed to be green, they would have called her Green, but it's Leaf. Totally different. But yeah, now Green's here is a super powerful trainer that is confusingly obsessive with throwing balls at your face. I don't know, maybe it makes more sense in the manga, but I don't want to read the manga. Pokemon get chopped in half in the manga. But no, they insisted on HMs, and they always sucked. And I'm not looking forward to going back a few generations for future videos solely because of this, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But you know, now if you want to fly to a previous area, you ride a balloon ship. If you want to travel in water, you ride a surfboard. That's how it should have been, and I'm so glad Let's Go does it this way, except for the bicycle exclusion. You don't get a bike in Let's Go for reasons I'll never understand. If you want faster movement, you need to ride a Pokemon, but you can't ride every Pokemon, although I'd love to fast travel on a Pidgey just for the visual humor alone. You can only ride on certain Pokemon, so I hope one of your favorites is eligible, otherwise you're wasting a slot on just having a ride bitch. And shit, maybe they didn't learn anything from HMs after all. Since the whole game is one giant safari zone now, the actual safari zone in Fuchsia has been replaced with the Go Park, where you can link your Pokemon Go account with your Let's Go file. From here you can transfer your Pokemon, at least the ones from Kanto, into the Switch and either watch them frolic in the park, or you can catch them and add them to your roster. Not a bad idea really, I like it. It's a good way to get Pokemon not available in your version of the game. For instance, since I got Let's Go Eevee, I can't get Growlithe, meaning I can't get Arcanine, one of my favorite fire types. I mean, yeah, I suppose there is the Arcanine you can get from this lady by catching 5 Meowths, but it's not the same, it's not mine. And I love how the game lets you have one of your Pokemon follow you around. That was one of the best things they introduced in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and they haven't done it again until now. Can this just be a feature for the rest of time? It's a small thing, but I enjoy seeing my favorite Pokemon tag along and getting stuck between chairs and couches. Christ, Raichu, suck it in, baby! Woo. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. I can't help but feel I'm forgetting something, though. It'll come back to me later. Was it? No. I feel like there's a cliffhanger I didn't resolve. Oh! Of course. I didn't start round 2 yet. I should probably get to that. Alright then. Let's get that there. Now we're back in business. So here it is, the generation I skipped over so many years ago. In late 2002 in Japan and early 2003 for Americans, Pokemon jumped into the Game Boy Advance with Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. Also, apparently it bothers some of you that I pronounce Pokemon as Pokemon. Well, what do you want from me? You want me to say Pokemon like the early episodes of the anime? Is it Pokemon? Is it Pokemon? I don't know, I don't give a shit, so I'm still calling them Pokemon, so get off my back, Pokeman! Well, I'm finally ready to jump into the Hoenn region if you are. Let's tackle Pokemon Generation 3. So for this game, you can choose between a boy or girl. I went with boy because why not? And canonically, the two are known as Brendan and May. And you know, kind of glad they dropped the whole color moniker of protagonists. We got Pokemon Red and Blue here, so who are the kids? Well, Red and Blue. Genius! But whoever you pick this time, the opposite would act as your buddy and rival. But holy shit, Brendan and May make for one of the weakest rivals in the franchise I've seen so far. I guess to be fair, their profiles indicate they're not very good at Pokemon battles, so okay, why make them our rivals at all? Just make them our tag-along buddies. You know, Ash had Brock and Misty and a shitload of other folks I'm sure he kidnapped, so why can't we start forming a party here? There's also this kid you end up befriending later named Wally that takes up Pokemon training because it's his lifelong passion, but can't completely go through with it because he's got some sort of illness that they never fully go into. I took it as asthma. I decided to go with Torchic for this adventure. I've always been keen on the fire starters in Pokemon games, and in this case, fuck, I'm glad I did because Hoenn, as a region, is severely lacking in good fire types. I never liked the Slugma lineup. I'm not a fan of Numel's design. The only other option I noticed was the Vulpix lineup, but that was super late in the adventure, so hope you're not a fan of fire types. But I guess the reason I keep griping on the Kanto stuff is because I think Hoenn lacks in what I consider to be unique and interesting landmarks and routes. Out of every town I came across, I could only recall Fall Arbor Town because right beside the town are folks who collect and play in volcanic ash, which last I recall was extremely detrimental to human health. Hoenn can be weird. Where do you come from? Yes or no? Why are those the choices I'm given for that? When you eventually get your Poke Navigator, you can register phone numbers of all the various trainers you met along the way, you know, to shoot the shit or participate in rematches later for some extra experience and money. But some of these descriptions, okay, I didn't need to know that one of them was hard as rock. You just keep that to yourself, okay? And one other's battle method is to just let it all hang out? What the fuck? There's this one dude named the Trickmaster who challenges you to go through his maze inside his house, and some trainers inside comment on how they're only there by accident. The Trickmaster kidnapped these poor fucks. There's also this abandoned ship you can come across when surfing down south, and it's dilapidated as all hell, but there's people, including children, playing around inside. What the hell, folks? There's holes in the floor. God knows how much rust and shit everywhere. It's not safe here. You see, this is why you don't play in volcanic ash. I see they have Pichu and Pikachu dolls, but no Raichus? Pieces of shit. Fuck this feature. This game has a bizarre fascination with creating Mad Libs. I don't get why everyone around me is so enamored with this. What's my trainer profile? No. What's the latest trendy phrase that everyone's saying? I am bag. How would I describe my Magikarp? Confused, disappointed, exists? Make sure you catch something like Zigzagoon when you start though, because almost every other starting Pokemon can't learn Cut, the attack necessary to cut down trees. I hate giving my starter 8 gems because they can't be removed until you meet this move deleter way later down the road. So I tried teaching it to some other Pokemon I caught. Poochyena? No. Skitty? No. Wurmple? No. Good lord, I just want to go past this tree. 8 gems are evil, man. You got this couple that can't reunite because these pair of rocks block their path, and you gotta use Rock Smash to not only open the path to proceed, but to bring these two together. 8 gems don't believe in true love, they suck. Every game puts emphasis on that region's exclusive Pokemon, but Hoenn has an everlasting hard-on for Poochyenas, Numels, and Wingles. I swear 80% of the region's trainers have these 3 specifically, and it got visually depressing fast. It's the worst with the Team Aqua and Magma battles. They are hell-bent on using only 2 or 3 of the same Pokemon, even the higher-ups. I can argue that Team Rocket at least had some sort of excuse back then because of the smaller pool to choose from, but this is Gen 3. There's over 380 of these little creatures at this point, but no, let's whip out Numel number 47. Pokemon also have natures now. I don't know, something to describe their personality or behavioral patterns. It's really just a way to identify what area they specialize in. A Pokemon with an adamant nature, for example, has naturally better attack power than others while having less special attack. But if you want the best of the best, you now must consider a Pokemon's nature on top of their abilities, and let me just say, I'm glad I was never that seriously into the competitive scene, because the idea of going through grass all day, waiting for a specific Pokemon to show up, catching it, and then hoping it's the correct nature, then breeding repeatedly to get the best individual values with their children, it makes me all numb with indifference. It's there for those that enjoy that sort of depth, but not necessary for casual play. I struggle thinking what to make my 6th Pokemon, which firstly I couldn't really level until endgame because I always had to have an HM slave in my party just to travel the world, but I eventually decided to make it Slackoth, which when fully evolved into Slacking, oh my god! Their inherited ability makes it so they can only attack every other turn because, you know, they're based on a Sloth nature Slowpoke. But the raw power and defense they have makes them absurdly powerful. My Slacking was about 14 to 15 levels below one of the Elite Four's strongest Pokemon, but my Slacking was still able to tank hits and deliver some juicy retribution in return. Yeah, they're slow, but with the right setup, Slacking is a fucking beast. Their coolness factor, their intelligence, their toughness, the only use I found for these were these Pokemon contests where you could pit your Pokemon against other Pokemon in... What do you compare this to? A dog show where your dog can breathe fire? A beauty pageant with a serpent that summons tornadoes at will? I also didn't waste a bunch of time on this. I don't need a contest to know that my fire chicken is hot shit. Every once in a while along the journey, because I swear the game can't make up its mind if this is supposed to be the main plot or not, we find both teams causing trouble in a weather facility or on top of a mountain, and then we get them to skedaddle for a brief time, but soon enough they find the means to awaken the ancient Pokemon, and because I think they're disgruntled neighbors or something, they begin to clash, causing geographical pandemonium to occur. Heavy downpours filling the sky, areas getting flooded, lightning bolts tearing from the heavens, potentially putting the whole region, no, the entire world at risk. And then we go to the Sky Pillar, wake up this Pokemon, who then proceeds to fly over to these two and say, "Will you two shut up?" And then they leave. That's how the plot ends. I'm not shitting you. Afterwards, it's like the whole Team Aqua and Magma scuffle never happened. Dear God, it's laughable how swept under the rug the whole thing feels. You know, I can admire Gen 3 for trying to make the journey a little more than just getting gym badges, but it feels like they got cold feet at the last second and were just too afraid to, you know, fully flesh things out. So after that, I finished getting the rest of the gym badges, shoutouts to gym leader Juan because we share names. I decided to spend some time hunting down legendaries because why not, with no intention of catching them because I really couldn't care at this point. I bitch slapped Groudon and Kyogre for wasting my time earlier and did the same to Rayquaza for suddenly ending the story. And then by complete accident, I ran into this one called Latias. I thought, oh fuck me, they brought roaming legendaries back, but no, this is the only time they do this to my knowledge, so I let this one get away and said, fuck it, I'm not dealing with that bullshit again. Gen 3 also has these golem-looking legendaries, Registeel, Regice, and Regirock. I call them the Reggies, which I can't say out loud without thinking of this Reggie.
With the Hoenn region behind him, Johnny sets his sights on his return to Sinnoh, a place he hasn't visited in over 10 years. But what shenanigans will he get himself into along the way? And why is it taking him so long to look at Dragon Quest? Seriously?
I would not do Dragon Quest before Final Fantasy. Who asked that? It sounds like Ted. Is that Ted? But I decided to look at Hey You Pikachu for today's sidetrack instead because I had no idea what I was getting into with this one. But after finally playing the game for today, all I can say is, damn, I really should have looked at Pokemon Puzzle League instead. So this is Hey You Pikachu, developed by Umbrella that, oh goddamn, they got me! The game involves you as this youngster testing out Professor Oak's new device called the Poke Helper, allowing you to directly communicate with Pokemon. You end up befriending this wild Pikachu you come across in the outskirts of Viridian Forest, and from this point on, you and Pikachu just do shit. Pikachu himself is filled with a good amount of personality and is rocking decent animation. Oh god, except when he's trying to give me a victory sign. Oh god, what is going on with his limbs? He's got man hands. What is this? This is the precursor to Manchu. And I never thought I'd bring up Manchu in any capacity. My first red flag was the Pokemon quiz show. You can direct Pikachu to your TV in the bedroom and, using the microphone, test your knowledge on Pokemon names. Can you get all 10 right? The answer is... fuck you. This feels like it works when it wants to. I know my Generation 1 Pokemon. With how many times I listen to the Poké-Rap, you bet your ass I do. But no matter how clear I said Vaporeon or Slowbro, the game didn't pick it up and treat it as if I got it wrong. Don't give me that look. I said the right thing, but you want to hit the wrong button, so it's your fault, you klutz. There's one minigame where you have to guide Pikachu to this pinata to break it open. Listen, this shit is adorable. I can't deny that, but this is a roll of the dice. You can spend all day telling Pikachu to go left, right, or stay the course, but it's like the blindfold is also impairing his hearing. You're better off telling him to use the Force and feel that shit out. Luckily, this Pikachu does seem to be a fan of Star Wars. I feel this is most apparent with Field Trip, a mission where I think you have to water these Oddiches enough times with a water can to get them to evolve into Grooms and Vileplumes. I say I think because it's all dependent on whether Pikachu notices the damn Oddiches in the first place. You can help direct Pikachu to a general area when you call out to him. You know, sometimes it's as easy as getting close to the mic and saying, "Over here, dipshit!" You just keep feeding the Caterpie until the Butterfree gets back home and you're on your merry way. Buying something in Abra's shop isn't as easy as choosing something and going about your business. No, Pikachu has to choose the item himself, and then you have to tell him if that's what you want, and Jesus Christ. No, Pikachu, the lucky hook. Get the lucky hook, baby. It's right there. That one in the center. No. Alright, now we gotta head back to the shop tomorrow because Abra hates repeat customers in the same day. I guess the hook, Pikachu, the hook. Get the hook, not the hoe and trumpet. God damn it, Pikachu. Yeah, play your little doots, that's fine, but we need to get that lucky hook. We gotta catch that Seeking, otherwise you're eating Bulbasaur's mystery soup again, and I know it gives you the screaming shits. Your ass literally becomes a rocket with that. Yes! Yes, the lucky hook! That's the one! Buy it! Buy it! Come on, we gotta go! Yes! Yes! Oh my god, that was for buying an item. Buying an item! I've had better luck getting late night food at a drive-thru. He could be a rude little shit though. You can give him something to play with and he'll just toss it to the side, not caring about property damage. He could throw all your tissues around the floor, which hits me on a personal level, seeing as I got this little demon right here that loves to unravel my toilet paper rolls if I leave the bathroom door open. Ah, get away from that! Pikachu can run around the room aimlessly, not listening to a word you say, which I guess is standard as we discussed earlier. What was that? What was that? What is he doing? Wait. What is that? Is he throwing his shit at me? What the fuck? Pikachus do that? That's disgusting. Bulbasaur, my man, your cooking's turning Pikachu's ass inside out. I'm pretty sure Raichus wouldn't throw their steaming doo-doo butt mud at me. Our story begins in the Ouray region, I think it's pronounced Ouray, or maybe it's just Or, a land where wild Pokemon are nowhere to be found, and is home to some rather unpleasant gangs and assholes. I'm gonna assume these folks had their Pokemon imported from different regions. If there's no wild Pokemon, well then how the hell do they have them at all? Is there an Amazon Pokemon service? Well, we see this dude in this spiffy blue coat ransacking this building belonging to Team Snag'em, a gang dedicated to stealing other trainers' Pokemon for their own benefit using this Snag'em machine. This dude, canonically known as Wes, was formerly a member of the team, but I guess he didn't like the lack of a union and decided to defect. He destroys the Snag'em machine, takes the portable version of it for himself, and then, with a smile on his face, blows the hideout to Kingdom Come, making a getaway with his motorbike straight out of a Mad Max flick. Now that is a way to captivate me. Already I wanted to know more about this kid. What's he like? What are his beliefs? What motivated him to join the bad guys? What motivated him to leave? In the first 2 minutes, Wes was already impressing me more than how previous protagonists did. And then the game just pushes that all to the side to have a standard Team Rocket plot. An evil organization known as Cypher, which I can't say out loud without thinking of Metal Gear Solid 5. Rui, for some reason, can identify a shadow Pokemon by noticing their dark aura. And I don't know if it's just a bad angle or an effect, but her eyes look super far apart when she's using her power too. Woo! She can point out shadow Pokemon for you to catch, and that's it. Any sort of communication or dialogue she has never extends much beyond the usual, "Come on, we should help the shadow Pokemon," or "We should stop Team Cypher." I'll tell you what she is good at though, physically getting in the way. I'm trying to navigate through some corridors and she's repeatedly standing in front of me and slowing me down. Not enough to be frustrating, but it was getting annoying. The Pokemon look good in action too. Some of them, particularly the Generation 1 Pokemon, don't look much better than their Stadium models though. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just their Stadium models with just a tad more polish. I mean, just look at Machamp here. Poor dude did not transition to the GameCube well at all. You get to this point where one of the lab scientists activates the alarm saying you can't leave the area now, but you can still just walk out of the place. And this is a small thing, but you got these set of stairs here with an elevator that you can use once you clear the area of its trainers. Elevators are normally used as a shortcut to get to the exit faster. It's only 2 seconds faster than using the stairs. As weird as this sounds, I think this perfectly sums up the amount of thought that went into the dungeon design of Colosseum. The opposing trainer will also not give a flying shit that you're attempting this, for the record. I know the majority of your fights are against evil dickheads, or at least implied to be douchebags, so there's no real moral conundrum here, but you think the trainer would at least get on your ass for attempting to steal their Pokemon. Evil or not, if I saw someone trying to take my Pokemon, I'd stop the battle immediately and beat the shit out of that trainer. But that's not the case here, there's no repercussions. Why wasn't Team Snag'em a bigger part of this story? You blew up their base. There's a fight with the leader near the end of the game, but that's the only time he ever shows up. You'd think he'd be on your ass big time after blowing up his house. But anyway, this is my 200th versus video. Hooray! Yay! Fireworks all over the place. This is my 200th versus video. I'm not counting the Sonic hacking contest videos or the Johnny versus Sage stuff. I'm talking 200 full-fledged versus videos. 200! I didn't think it'd be Pokemon related. I'm never really good at planning milestones or what have you, so we're just kind of gonna go with the flow here. Nearly 2 years after the release of Colosseum, we got Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the GameCube, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but every time I see the letters XD next to each other, I'm thinking someone's laughing at something. Wait, what? Is this some sort of fucking joke to you? A few of you mentioned that Gale of Darkness was the better of the two, so immediately I was eager to see how so, but if anything was improved, it certainly wasn't the battle mode. Good God, it's such an afterthought here. As before, you and your friends need Game Boy Advances to even participate in multiplayer battles, and single player is merely just you versus a random AI opponent with a small selection of random Pokemon, and that's all there is to it. Shoutouts to Curtin here though, I relate to that face hard. So it looks like all the attention was placed in the game's story mode this time, which is fine. It's not like anybody was actually talking about Pokemon Colosseum's battle mode, and I'll give props, they really know how to sell the corruption themes. Before I even had a chance to start the game, Gale of Darkness corrupted my memory card, and I had to give him my own version of purification treatment. There's a point where you travel back to a town from Colosseum, and Cypher planned on locking away all the townspeople and replace them with Cypher duplicates so they wouldn't arouse suspicion. Imagine if someone kidnapped you and the kidnapper sent a lookalike so that no one would be the wiser. That is pretty damn creepy on paper, but then it's quickly dealt with once you beat some asses in Pokemon battles. For as much as the game wants to push Cypher as a serious threat, it's still up to a young child to save the day, which I feel undermines the whole thing. Speaking of the hero, our protagonist this time is this young child named Michael. Look, if folks know that Cypher is corrupting Pokemon to make them dangerous, kidnapping people and hijacking ships, call the fucking police, or the military even. Why is everyone completely okay with just letting a child handle this? At least in the Generation games, stopping the bad guys like Team Rocket and such was never the point. It was just something you happened to do while on your quest to become a Pokemon master. Still far-fetched to a degree, but not as ridiculous given the circumstances. If a lone child has to be the one to save the day, then at least give me reason to believe so. Have the police or military in Cypher's pockets or some other thing. Something other than, I wish you the best on your journey, because the kid isn't collecting badges or trying to become the very best. He's trying to stop a terrorist organization. Michael, on the other hand, is more in line with a regular Pokemon protagonist, just as much as a mute as all the others and sporting a depressingly standard scooter to get around the region. It's a big downgrade visually speaking, but he rocks the Snag'em device on his arm pretty well, so he's got that at least, and I dig the scouter he gets to help him discover shadow Pokemon. That's a neat, efficient way of doing things instead of wasting a whole character to do that job. I think it'd be perfectly okay with just starting with Gale of Darkness since it has almost everything Colosseum has and then some, except the motorbike. I can't let that go. You're gonna give him like a big wheel with like 3 flaming mufflers attached to the sides or some other thing. Steel types were not gonna be my iron wall this time, so I got a Houndoom and it made things much more comfortable. You start off with an Eevee that you can evolve into your evolution of choice when the time is right, so I got my Vaporeon, and the rest of my team soon settled in place. Honoring my friend Matt's request, I named my Houndoom and then just for shits and giggles. And then I used Flamethrower, and then I gained experience, and then I fainted. Though I find the Ore region to be improved from before, at least in terms of the characters you meet, it all feels the same. But for a moment, I thought this game was trying to be something much more. When you fight this mad scientist inside this large Robo-Groudon, I thought, oh man, are we getting traditional boss battles this time? Oh, that'd be cool, fighting something other than Pokemon? Using your team to fight in unorthodox ways and find different strategies, like a traditional RPG battle, but no, the scientist just uses Pokemon while inside the large contraption, so what the hell's the point of the robot? This disappointed me so hard. I thought Gale of Darkness was really gonna have something to set it apart, but it blue-balled me. It ultra blue-balled me. And for as much as they hype up Shadow Lugia, you only see the son of a bitch twice. Once in the intro, and then as an encounter at the end where you can just throw a Master Ball at it and call it a day. Prepare to meet your doom! Go forth, my Shadow Lugia! Yep. Fuck! What have we got? all these games have to come out around the same time? So I got myself a copy of Diamond about a few weeks before Platinum was released, so I stopped playing Diamond and picked up Platinum to start my Generation 4 experience proper. Or you could press your luck with the global traits. Oh, that was always such a mess. Be that as it may, in this year of 2019, the Nintendo DS Wi-Fi service has long been shut down, but you can still battle and trade with friends using a local wireless connection. But the likelihood of that happening in today's age is slim to none. People are looking forward to Generation 8 now than Generation 4. No, if anything, the only one who's really concerned about being the best this time around is your longtime childhood friend and rival for this adventure, Barry, who's incredibly hyper, and that's it. Not much else to say about him. You fight him on occasion like you normally do in these games and he's off to another sugar injection. Doesn't even say goodbye to his mother before leaving on his journey, the little shit. Cyrus and the protagonist are then taken to the Distortion World, where they hop around for a bit, and then our hero manages to calm Giratina down, and that's the end of Cyrus's scheme, I suppose. He claims that one day he'll make his dreams a reality, and then just leaves, never to face any repercussions for his actions. You know, wiping out the universe to remake it in your image isn't that bad of a crime in the world of Pokemon. Holy shit. Then you go ahead and finish up your Pokemon adventure by collecting the rest of the gym badges and facing off against the Elite Four, ending with the battle against the champion of the Sinnoh region, Cynthia. One of my favorite characters in this series just for the design alone. I know that's a pretty shallow reasoning for liking a character, but come on, man, she rocks those clothes and her team is aces. She's also an avid Pokemon researcher and helps you along your journey, and also accompanies you in the Distortion World to watch your back, so all around she means well, but she doesn't lift a single damn finger in your final battle against Cyrus. The universe is at stake, bitch, so help me out here! One of the commanders of the organization, Sharon, takes leadership and wants to disrupt the region for monetary gain, but to my bewilderment, this is the one time where the series actually acknowledges that police are a thing in this world and the man is incarcerated for his actions. This is the game to introduce Looker, an agent of the International Police. He's a little eccentric, but is dedicated to his job and by the end, gets the score on Team Galactic's arrest. On one hand, I'm bummed you never get to fight Sharon yourself, but on the other hand, yeah, fucking finally! Don't rely on the kid to do everything, you're an adult, do your fucking job! But then its resolution comes and goes, not much better than how Emerald ended its subplot with Team Aqua and Magma. You deal with the Distortion World stuff and come out like, whew, wasn't that something, right? And then things are back to normal. I don't think we're given enough of Cyrus to learn why he does what he does besides the usual, "This world is imperfect." What? You do learn from background text that he was once just another resident of the Sinnoh region, and then over the years he wanted to remake the universe to his liking, you know, as we all do. But with no continued development, however, Cyrus doesn't go above the standard one-dimensional RPG villain. There aren't enough layers to get invested in his story, which is doubly disappointing considering this is a man who doesn't want to rob people of Pokemon for money or change the climate. He wants to remake the universe. Shit. But the sprite scaling can look downright ugly at times, whether the camera's high up making you look so crunched, to when sprites are sort of caught in a flux and you end up with cases like this hiker here, who goes from a closed-eyed goofball to someone who's just been told his drink was poisoned. For all the good the DS did for detail, however, the frame rate was cut in half, with everything being capped at 30 frames per second this time. But capped frame rate is one thing, the game overall feels slower than previous generations. If you played those, you get that the moment the game begins. This is your default walking speed, and I was terrified. I remember the game being slow, but I'm like, oh god, it's worse than I remembered. But you do get the running shoes not long after, and then it's fine, and the bike is still an option as well. The speed of which a Pokemon's HP drains when they're damaged, or when you heal HP, or when you gain experience has been significantly reduced, and in the worst cases, it is ridiculous how long it can take to watch a Pokemon faint with a damaging attack or with a one-hit kill. I love Blissey, but good god, I know it varies from person to person, and this may not bother you, and again, it's still way faster than Colosseum and Gale at Darkness, but eventually it started driving me nuts and makes me glad I decided to use an emulator for the speed up feature. The Amity Square in Hearthome City, where you're only allowed to bring in cute Pokemon for your visit, to which I say, yeah, this black belt has it right, this is racist. And for all I liked about Sinnoh, that's not to say I didn't get agitated, and yep, I'm talking about the HMs. 8 of these fucking things, and they're all required to progress with the story. Along with the usual stuff, we got Rock Climb this time because Sinnoh is up in the mountains, okay, that makes sense. And then there's Defog. Defog. For a mountainous region, there are no fog lights in Sinnoh. Was this really necessary? And listen, I'm not one to knock on Pokemon designs, everyone's got their favorites, so who am I to judge, but Sinnoh has a skunk with an ass for a face, and its cry sounds like it's ripping ass. It's a little on the nose, don't you think? I usually like to get a normal type for all-around coverage, but I got no Teddy Ursa this time to make into an Ursaring, so I went with a Baneri this time, which eventually becomes Lopunny because I like her speed, and nothing else. Evolving a Baneri is a bit of a hassle since, like Espeon, Baneri only evolves when you reach a high enough happiness value with it. But unlike Eevee, Baneri's initial happiness rating is a flat out 0, the only one of its kind to have that quirk, I believe. This Pokemon hates your ass from the start, which you wouldn't think would be the case with that kind of cute design, but yeah man, she can't stand you. So enjoy the process of winning a lot of battles with her and running around in circles repeatedly just to get those values up. But if you want something a little more comprehensive, then I can always recommend you something like Chugga Conroy's extensive Pokemon Platinum LP. It's a long one though, so make sure you put some time away for it if you're gonna watch it. It's good background noise, I find. But even without these event exclusives, Platinum as is still has plenty of legendaries already in it. You have Dialga and Palkia, encounters I love for the music alone, and you have the mandatory encounter with Giratina. There's also Heatran, who you can find on Stark Mountain during postgame. But then you have the others and... Okay, of the 3 late guardians of Sinnoh, Uxie and Azelf are cool because they just wait for you to arrive and then you get the chance to catch them. That's fine, I like that. But the third one, Mesprit, is another goddamn roaming legendary. And it doesn't stop there. There's also the returning legendary birds from Gen 1, who are also now roaming around the region. And then there's this one called Cresselia, who's also a roamer. Jesus, come on. I mean, with the map marker app on your watch, these are easier to find than ever before, but no less tedious. And can we talk about Cresselia for a second here? You can't even begin hunting this one down until you complete the Sinnoh Pokédex. And just for clarity, that just means the smaller regional Pokédex. And if you fought about every trainer in the region, you should do this naturally. I only had to find about 3 others before beginning this hunt. Afterwards, you meet with Professor Oak from Gen 1, who gives you the National Dex, a grim reminder that your true Pokemon Collectathon has only just begun, you pathetic fool. But with this, you head back to Canalave City and find this small child trapped in a nightmare, and he can't wake up. You learn that the child's father has been feverishly looking for the Lunar Wing, the thing that'll help wake the kid up, and you agree to help the father by traveling to Full Moon Island. You find the thing in less than 15 seconds. Did this man even try? Your kid is suffering, you know the item you need is on this island. It's not a large island at all, and he didn't think to—
What are you, fucking stupid?
Okay, so around this time, I was back in a Pokemon high, you could say. Pokemon Platinum hooked me back in, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver ensured that I wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. When word started spreading that the next major generation was making its rounds, I picked it up day 1, I played it for about 3 hours, and then put it back down. I wouldn't revisit Generation 5 until Part 2 came out later the next year. This was the Unova region, based heavily around the New York City metropolitan area. That's right, for Generation 5, we were— I say now throwing balls, catching some garbage. Yep, we're in the not America for Generation 5, and already I feel right at home. We got airports, sports stadiums with no one watching, so I'm guessing their team sucks, amusement parks, Broadway musicals. I'll gladly watch my little Munna dance with a top hat, then participate in those contests again. Those are nowhere to be seen in this game. You got your apartments, big ass cities, nice suburban areas that you can't afford to live in, and lots of bridges. Call it my American bias, but I love the Unova region, especially growing up as a city boy. Though it has different slices of Americana splattered throughout. It's not that previous regions didn't have their own personalities, but Unova's resonates with me so hard because of the basis. Again, fully biased in that viewpoint, but I'm American, what do you want from me? Crossing over the bridge to some place like Castalia City is something straight out of an anime opening. I'm serious, pop in your favorite anime song and run through the bridge. I bet you it'll fit. Locales like Nimbasa's city are positively bustling with activity, making them feel very alive. It's a big old melting pot of city folks and trainers, some of which we've never seen before, including black people. Holy shit, I cannot believe it took them until Generation 5 to give us black trainers. What the hell was the holdup? Our heroes for this adventure can either be Hilbert or Hilda. I decided to go female this time since I haven't done that yet for this review channel, and for the record, this is pronounced Jean. I get people pronouncing this wrong all the time on Final Fantasy XIV. It's French, you uncultured swines. Anyway, in the quiet New Vima town, our protagonists along with their 2 best friends Bianca and Sharon are given their own Pokemon and Pokédexes to begin their brand new Pokemon adventure, all in the name of helping Professor Juniper continue her research on Pokemon. And if you think I'm expediting that, no, I'm really not. They waste little time getting you going on your journey. These walking, talking dildos go on about how Pokemon should be separated from their human owners since we use them as tools for self-gain and battles, and immediately I thought, oh shit, the villain this time is PETA. I mean, Team Plasma still use Pokemon to further their goals, and some have no qualms abusing Pokemon to get what they want. And the true head of the organization is just using it as a front to achieve his goal, so there's definitely some hypocrisy there. But hey, PETA's also one for generating hypocritical controversy, so I say it's a lovely fuck you to them all the same. But alright, and here comes from royalty, one deeply ingrained in Unova's history and sorely lacking in basketball skills. You visit his room later on and Jesus Christ, that's not even a basketball. Anywho, N is super affectionate for his Pokemon and wants to use the power of the legendary Zekrom and Reshiram, all depending on what version you're playing, to prove himself a hero and win the Pokemon League Championship to help spread his ideals and convince people to release their Pokemon. Firstly, I was not aware that winning the Pokemon League Championship can give someone that much power and authority over the people. It's not like Super Bowl champions can suddenly proclaim that owning pets are illegal, so I'm not sure how that was going to play out after he won the championship. Now, I'm not sure if N went and got gym badges for himself, considering you can't even enter the final area without having all the badges. Check out the security measures, man. Pokemon champions are serious fucking business in Unova. These two act as your rivals, sure, and more than Bianca really. Bianca just wants to get out there and find purpose in her life, but is awfully insecure about her trainer abilities and isn't sure if she's cut out for this sort of thing. Not to mention, she has a father who is adamant on keeping her at home because he doesn't think a child should be out there all alone traveling the world, to which I say, yeah, he's right. About time someone said it. But this is the world of Pokemon, so eventually he's convinced that Bianca can learn to grow and fend for herself as long as she has her friends and her Pokemon by her side. Shuren is a little more classical if you ask me. He wants to become Pokemon champion himself and become stronger as an individual. But sometimes his overly intellectual assertions and logical demeanor can make him lose sight of the bigger picture. I like to think of him as the Spock of the group if you ever watched Star Trek. A good-natured kid with determination and is committed to his goals, but not very fun at parties. One thing they certainly learned not to repeat from Platinum though are the overabundance of HM usage. Their significance has been dramatically reduced. Most are now relegated to exploring post-game areas, and even those instances are rather bite-sized. But now, you don't need to climb waterfalls or push rocks just to finish a story. I think they're only needed maybe once or twice early in the campaign, and it's simply to cut a tree. Whew, that is a relief. Higher leveled Pokemon earn less experience now when they knock out a lower level Pokemon, but the opposite is also true. Weaker Pokemon earn a shit ton of experience now when they defeat a stronger Pokemon. It helps tremendously with catch up when you're training for your endgame team, but the inclusion of one particular Pokemon makes grinding almost trivial. This is Aldino. Aldino loves you, and you will love Aldino. The Elite Four and the Champion all peak at around the early to mid 50s, but once you start visiting those routes that are immediately available once you finish the game, bam, mid to upper 60s. What the hell happened here? Shit, keep going a little further and you can face off against a returning Cynthia from Gen 4 whose Pokemon are in the lower to mid 70s. I thought my Aldino grinding was overkill, but apparently I didn't knock out enough. I couldn't keep counting the number of trainers that use Patrats, Pidoves, woo, Bats, Lillipups, and Purloins. Now, I'm sure these Pokemon have their fans, but at this point in time with over 400 of these creatures available, to suddenly limit the availability of them was jarring to say the least. And you know what? I'm just going to leave that there for now because call it a hunch, I might be bringing up this point again for a future review, God knows how long from now. I got a Bofalant for a normal type power and coverage, my Ursaring of this gen really, and because I love the afro, I'm easily pleased. At first I was going to stick with Blitzel for my electric type because I like their speed, but I ended up not following through with this because I found my Gen 5 soulmate in the form of Stunfisk. That face, man, speaks volumes. Some days you just feel like a Stunfisk. Welcome aboard, Spirit Pal. I was gonna level up a Dino into a Hydreigon because I remember having one in my team in Black and White too, but ugh. Dino doesn't evolve into a Zweilous until level 50, and then it takes them until 64 to finally turn into a Hydreigon. Even with all Dino grinding, that's just a chore. So I decided to cheat this time. Normally I'm against adding legendaries to my team, it's just a personal preference, but no shit, I love Reshiram's design, it's one of my favorite legendaries in the entire franchise. And it gave me an excuse to add a Bob to my team. There's always room for a Bob. There's also these three collectively known as the Swords of Justice. Now that's a badass name for a group. Cobalion, Terrakion, and Verizon. I'm sorry, wait. That's Verizon? Virizion? No, I don't really know. Recording this has been a process and a half. The last few weeks, the last month has been quite a jumbled mess. I had to put things on hold because of major downpours in the area flooding my basement and office, and that took a considerable amount of time to clean up. I had to take some time off to help the guys over at Fund the Charity Room raise money for the International Rescue Committee with our License to Chill event. By the way, thank you to everyone who stopped by and watched Elliot and I look like fools in Star Wars Connect, and watched me kill an innocent bystander with a cardboard box.
I don't know what she's doing.
Oh!
Then last week I had to take my cat Celine to get fixed, and I've been keeping a close eye on her ever since. Oh, I know, baby, the cone is ridiculous, but just bear with it for a couple more days. 2 times did I have to send my safe file to my friend Experiment T, the one I mentioned in the Gen 4 video, so that, he can do his hacker thing and get my safe file back to where it was. Dude, if you haven't been watching this, I know I bled my heart out to you in DMs behind the scenes, but thank you again so much for the assist. You saved me a assload of time, and I just want to talk about Black and White too. We got a mom who lives in the kitchen. We're back to having one rival for this adventure, and that's Hugh here, more on him later. And Team Plasma is no longer about zealots wanting to liberate Pokemon from their owners to help Pokemon live better lives. They're now just straight up villainous douchebags with new pirate gear, being led by the returning Ghetsis, who wants to use the power of this Pokemon, Kyurem, to turn Unova into an icebox with his giant freezing gun.
Winter is coming at last.
At a certain part in this game, Team Plasma begins their assault by attacking one city, covering it entirely in ice. But before we can raid the battle station and put an end to their agenda, your rival Hugh insists that you get the final gym badge before you head inside. And I'm like, what? Why? What's the correlation? Team Plasma's beginning their attack. Can't the Pokemon League crap wait? The writing just isn't as graceful as before, and while I'm on the topic of the last Pokemon Gym Badge, never have I wanted to punch a gym leader in the face more than with Marlin here. The laid-back surfer personality, you've seen it before surely, but in the context of the story, this guy's an asshole. You get his gym badge and yeah, he helps build a bridge to hop on the Plasma ship, but then he tries to spin this bullshit philosophy that, you know, I don't have anything against Team Plasma because they ain't bothering me, and who am I to judge them just because everyone tells me to? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They just attacked a city in cold blood and you're trying to play the centrist here, disregarding facts? Fuck you, dude. Ugh. The only friend we have is this boy Hugh, and he's pretty generic. He's the hot-blooded shonen character. He wants to get stronger to stop Team Plasma because they stole his sister's purloin some time ago, but he doesn't know when to turn off, and as a result, he can be quite the asshole to everyone around him. He's quick to anger, he doesn't know when to stay still, so he's like Barry with a more irritating personality, and maybe it's because he's still just a youngin', but his dialogue can really suck at times. Just when you're about to take on some Team Plasma goons, he's all like, just so you know, I'm about to unleash my rage, and I'm like, oh please, spoken like a dickhead who watches too much anime. But even so, oh my god, the sheer variety in Pokemon available is awe-inspiring. Never before have I struggled so much wondering who I should add to my team. Which starter do I choose? Well, I went with Oshawott last time thanks to you guys, and I don't want to go with Fire again, so I guess I can choose Snivy for now, but ooh, is that a Riolu? Sure, I'd like to give Lucario a shot this time. Oh, a Growlithe! I can get an Arcanine for my team. My favorite fire type in this series. Holy shit, are those wild Eevees? Hell yes, I'm capturing 2 of those so that I can have both an Espeon and Vaporeon on my team without the need for breeding. But that's just the beginning. I haven't even covered the stuff you can find in the cave systems or underwater.
Whew, thank God. I thought I was never getting through that firewall.
God damn it, that's what I forgot.
Forgot, dude, you just straight up blanked. We were getting ready to have our Pokemon battle and everything, and then you just left me hanging.
I wanted to play Batman.
Okay, alright. And after that?
Well, I made those Sonic videos that pretty much defined the channel. There was that one time I got kidnapped by that demonic doll.
John, it's been close to 7 years since that day. When are you finally gonna review?
Don't you say it. Don't you dare say it.
That copy of Dragon Quest V that I sent you.
Huh? Dragon Quest V?
Oh, for God's sakes. You lost it, didn't you?
I don't recall having one in the first place. What the hell are you talking about? Ow. What?
You said that if I played Resident Evil 4, that you'd play the copy of Dragon Quest V that I sent you.
Uh-huh. And it took you how long to play that game after I gave it to you?
That isn't the point.
That's exactly my point!
Guys, you're so wonderfully pathetic.
Yeah, you're one to talk, motherfucker.
Look, Ted, John's played how many RPGs in how many months? Let's cut him a little slack here. He's probably burnt out.
Ugh, nobody cares about Colosseum or Gale and Darkness. They don't count. Besides, I just want people to appreciate a game that doesn't get enough love in the West.
I'm not doing Dragon Quest before Final Fantasy. Are you high?
Dude, you owe me for skipping out on that Pokemon battle.
Can I just, I don't know, do Kirby?
No, you can't. Wait, Kirby, are you serious?
Sure.
You fell into my trap, pathetic fool. I knew that you would say anything to get me out of your hair after doing a whole marathon of Pokemon. You're not playing another RPG after that nonsense. And now, you get to play Kirby. My evil laugh sucks.
You slimy ass cheek.
That's a unique insult.
Looking forward to that next marathon, John. Have yourself a fantastic night and take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, I got your Kirby marathon ready to go. Just you. Ryan?
Sorry, I wasn't sure if I should leave or something. I'll see you later, John.
Oh, God, where the hell was I? Let me I could have sworn I put over 200 hours into it, but this says only over 100. But considering that you can finish the game in about 25 hours, that means I spent over 3/4 of this file in post-game. I did so much. I traded tons of Pokemon with my friend Matt, as well as battled friends overseas. We helped each other unlock certain dungeons, since you needed to have both versions of the game to unlock different Pokemon and dungeon layouts. Even different difficulties, which I found a little odd, like you have to complete White 2 to unlock easy mode after you already finished normal mode. That's strange. But you also need to beat Black 2 to unlock the hard mode, then you can trade those with friends. Part 2 is weird. And with that, I am once again spent with Pokemon. I'm serious. After this, I'm gonna need some serious time off from the franchise. I might pick up Gen 8 when it comes out later this year, but after these last few months, I'm not in any rush to get it day one. Well, I might anyway if all my friends decide to pick it up. Peer pressure is a bitch. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being so patient. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.